my way of thinking is like very traditional. And I think that stuff needs to be earned.
Right.
And I see like a bunch of little fucking idiots running around with like tattoos all over places that you can see, but when they go to the river and they take off their shirt, they have nothing else.
Right.
You look like a fool. And if any of your listeners look like that, go get a back piece right fucking now.
Or else.
Because
a dry
it
hot
looks
take.
ridiculous. So ridiculous. And that's my rant. I'm a baby. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's 2019. I get it, guys.
Good morning, everybody out there in podcast land. We're here in the dog days of summer land. And if you listen real closely to the summer breeze, it sounds a little like waiting to dry.
Now that's New York.
I am Sergio Lopez.
I'm Josh Lawyer.
And we have Dalf and MJ Lindo back on the podcast today.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us.
For sure.
You haven't been back for a while, Gan, right?
Yeah, it's been like...
It's like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, MJ's back whenever we need someone. I don't want to go anywhere. Since you've been here, you started a new medium.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
tattooing.
Yeah, because you
Fully.
weren't doing that, were you?
No,
I think you just started, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But now I am a full baby.
Nice.
Tattooing.
How do you like it so far?
It's terrifying and awesome all in one.
Hell yeah.
It is not fun hurting your friends, but you try to make it as comfy as possible. Take many breaks. I'm very slow at tattooing.
Really?
That's what I'm finding, yeah.
Huh. Well, I
It
mean,
takes me about like 3 hours for one tattoo, but everyone asks for big things.
is that not normal to be slow when you start?
I guess it depends. Like your mentor, your speed. Like I try to go very slow because if I go fast, I realize that I just fuck it up.
Right. Yeah.
So I try to go slow and like be the tiniest little slow printer.
Are you slow at drawing?
Yeah, actually. I'm very like particular about like the lines that I put down on the page. And same with painting. I'm like every stroke I'm just like, I'm gonna think about it for like 8 million years and then I'll start again.
Huh, that's interesting. Because MJ's super slow too.
But that's just my process. I feel like I'm a slow painter.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'm a slow drawer. I don't draw very much.
I don't know.
But
Yeah.
I'm a slow painter. But I got tattooed and I was fine. Everybody go get tattooed by Gan.
Oh, yeah, you got a rabbit.
Yeah.
That's my forte now because I've done
Hell yeah.
3 of them.
Hell yeah. And how many tattoos you think you've done since kind of going full speed ahead?
Oh, shit. I was trying to find like the little slips that I like write out after people give me my monies.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't put them all in one place. So I have no clue, but probably something around like 40.
Oh, nice. Damn.
Yeah. There's a lot of little ones. There's a few big ones.
That's a ton.
Yeah. For now.
I don't know if I've done 40 things since you've been here. Maybe.
You did a lot of drawings in that sketchbook.
I draw a lot, yeah.
You've probably done 40 sketches in your book.
Maybe I'm just digging for compliments. I'm like, I don't know.
Did I do this? But you've probably done like 60.
You don't say. I don't know. Fuck, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, are you still like in the apprentice phase, or are you like past that?
Yeah, I'm still an apprentice. I like don't take walk-ins. I'm really just tattooing all of my good friends right now, which is awesome because like a lot of people want rad shit and they want my stuff. So I haven't had like the person come in and ask for like an infinity symbol or like
mushrooms with fairies.
Oh, I would love to do that. That'd be fun.
I always think of that as like the worst tattoo in my head. I'm always like, like the old mushroom tattoos, women would get, like maybe on their ankle or their lower back.
With like a fairy sitting on it.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Hell yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's got to be the most regrettable tattoo.
I feel like Lauren just did one of those actually.
Really?
Yeah, but it was
Shout out
from
to that person.
it was from a website where like you tell these people what you want as a tattoo and then they draw something up, but sometimes they're not even tattoo artists, so their drawings don't work as tattoos. And so then that person brings that drawing that they paid for already to a tattoo artist, and it's like,
is it specifically for tattoos? Because I've heard of something like that recently. But for art. Not like...
Oh, really?
Yeah, where like someone will have an idea, and then you pay all these artists a certain amount, and then they come up with their design. And I saw it on YouTube.
It's something like... Well, it's exactly like that, but it's for tattoos. It's like tattoo specific, and I forgot the name of the website, which is good because I don't want to promote them anyways. Like, fuck them.
Fuck them.
But a lot of those tattoo designs, like things are too small, like things just look like shit over 2 years or even a year sometimes. Wow. And people bring them in and then they get angry when the artist is like, I need to change this around. And they're like, well, I already paid for it. And it's like, you should go to the tattoo artist first because they know what's going to be on your body.
I always have to tell people that. They're like, hey, I want a tattoo or something. I'm like, don't go to me. Go to the tattoo artist.
I
have no clue what they can do.
Right.
Like, I don't have an idea of what is translatable from my shit to skin and needles and ink.
Yeah,
exactly.
Even I'm having trouble with that too because I'm like traditionally an illustrator, and I have to break down a lot of the things that I've learned over the years and like break all of its bones and then reset them into like a different beast, which is cool, but it also makes me feel like maybe I'm losing a portion of my own work.
Right.
Because it's like you have to adhere it to American traditional or Japanese traditional. You really want it to look good. And then you find those facets and like make them your own. But a lot of the times there's so many artists out there that look exactly the same.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing with tattoo. It seems like it's so steeped in tradition.
Yeah.
That first of all, it's probably hard to even learn how to do tattoos the proper way without feeling an obligation to go through those routes.
Right.
And then the cohesiveness of like the artist then becomes like the art form itself is kind of more important than the artist in a lot of ways with that medium.
Yeah. Well, that's why there is like such a heavy tradition of like getting an apprenticeship because it's like tradition passed on to tradition.
Right.
And there's a bunch of art school kids like myself that like we went to 4 years. I went to 5 years of art college, and like I'm bringing that into the tattoo world, and it's getting really. Ooh,
what was that?
I don't know.
Is that the washer machine or something? I didn't turn that on. I don't know what the...
It's a ghost. There's a ghost of tattooing booing me. Yeah. I like feel like I'm stepping very lightly in this field because I'm surrounded by amazing traditional tattoo artists, and I look to them for advice, and any advice they give me, I try to immediately show it in my work.
For sure.
Just to show that I'm listening and that I don't think that I know everything. Hear that, Lauren? I don't think I yeah, and I'm just a big baby.
Yeah. Yes, so is everyone probably.
We're all big babies. It's pretty fair sometimes.
Are you going in the direction that you wanted to go as far as like your tattoo style? Like, is that or like so far has it worked out as far as what you've kind of envisioned?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like a lot of my friends are the ones that are getting tattooed, so it's readjusting. It's easy for me to do my own work because everyone knows what I want to do. But for the people that don't know me, like, I'm so open to drawing out ideas, like working with people, making their idea something pushed a little bit further. Like, my friend wanted another tiger bunny, and yesterday she was coming up from Oakland, so it took her like an extra hour, and I was like, okay, let's just call it 4:00 instead of 3:00 because I have an idea. And then I added like the bunny spitting fire, and she wanted a shackle on its leg. She wanted a ball and chain, but I didn't add the ball because I was like, fuck it, this thing is loose. And it just worked out well. It worked
That's
out
awesome.
really well. I'm stoked.
That's cool.
Yeah, I saw that one. It looks awesome.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I really like. There's like a part of it where the lines outline the fur, but then like the fade kind of fills it in. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm like, oh, I like the like lack of line, because I think tattooing in general is so line heavy, which is, I mean, I love a good line. Sometimes I like my drawings. I'm always like, I need to stop putting in lines where there shouldn't be, but I like them too much. But where like the tail is kind of defined by no line, but like lines that aren't.
Like the little fur lines?
Yeah, it's like fur lines then fade. So it kind of feels like the lack of line to me. I'm like, ooh, I like that as a design element.
Most tattoo work is like, at least traditional tattoo work, it's like line, shading, color.
Can I adjust your mic real quick?
Sure. What did I do? Yeah.
Podcast name.
A little off.
Center.
That's our podcast name. That's actually kind of perfect.
Yeah, I like that.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. I know you guys are thinking about starting a podcast, right?
Hell
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
really?
it'd be fun. Yeah, we'd have to sit down and really think about what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Probably like
that's
boys and
Boys,
nails,
sleepovers, pillow fights, nail color.
just what we all as men assume you guys talk about more.
You're right. That is what we talk about. Oh yeah, and also like witch shit and like harassing people.
That is
about it.
fun.
And how big you can blow a bubble using bubble gum.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much
those
that.
things, right?
Yeah.
That's what girls. We invited you guys here to have the girl point of view because we have no idea.
I believe it.
Hey.
It was fun though getting tattooed by Gan. I'd never gotten. She's my first female tattooist, and also the first one as a friend, which felt really different as opposed to like getting tattooed by. I mean, you get kind of friendly with a tattoo artist, but you're going in there only for that time. Like I don't hang out with him outside of getting tattooed. So
Sure.
it felt even though you were saying you're slow, it felt like it went by like in a snap.
Yeah, we were talking and laughing like the whole time too, which is really good. Some people just want to sit there and listen to their headphones, which is totally cool. Like I get that people want to zone out, but sometimes I get like the really fun friends that come through and like just want to fucking talk up a storm.
That seems like it would be hard for me. I would probably prefer the headphone person.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can concentrate.
Yeah. Because someone talking, I'm like, you know what? Let's just not do this. Let's just hang.
Let's play the quiet game.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be tough. Like if a friend comes, if I'm painting and a friend comes to hang out, like without me knowing, I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm done painting.
Right.
Yeah.
Time to hang and just, I don't know. I can't create it in that environment.
Yeah. It is difficult.
Yeah. And you have to have really good, like, essentially the best customer service.
Yeah.
It's because you're literally spending like 8 hours with someone on,
But I don't know.
like not 8 hours, but like you can up to 8 hours.
Yeah.
But some tattoo artists aren't known for their customer service.
No, but it's also
So,
not
I
as
mean,
enjoyable. Like I've gotten tattooed by people that I'm not the biggest fan of. And then it's just like it's more painful, or you're aware of the pain more. And then you're also like, I can't wait to get out of here type of thing.
Yeah.
So
I've definitely had those experiences. They're not fun. And that's why I think that a lot of people are running to female tattoo artists because they're finding that the bedside manner of like a lot of dude artists are just like very cold. Which I mean, a lot of them they've all dealt with so much shit. Like you deal with the craziest types of people in tattooing, and people also get tattooed to like. Some people get tattooed to feel healed or get like they're going through a healing process. So you hear a lot of like some of the most heinous stories, and you're just like, oh my God, like all I want to do is get this line in. And, you know, I had one person that was telling me some rough stuff, and I kind of had to just like work my own way through it because, you know, I'm not a channel. I'm very empathetic. So I'm just like, I'm going to cry right now.
Oh, damn.
And Lauren's the same way. He's the one that kind of warned me about that. He's like, tattooing isn't all fun and games. Like, people think it's a party life, but you have to sit there and, like, essentially be a therapist sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, we're not trained. So I think that maybe some tattoo artists, like, set up a boundary right away. And
did that always exist? Or was that, like, one of the outcomes of all those, like, TV shows?
I don't know.
Because all those TV, like, tattoo shows, it always seemed like everyone's tattoo had the, like,
mean something. Yeah.
And they probably nitpicked the stories for, like, the deepest, darkest stories.
I feel like it probably shot up, like, that type of, like, customer. Like, people went in there and saw because I used to watch those TV shows, and those TV shows are just like, you know, sad story after sad story after sad story. So people are like, oh, that's what I want to do because I'm going through something. And then they run to a tattoo shop to tell their sad story as they're getting tattooed.
Yeah, I think that everyone gets tattooed for different reasons. Like, I've had so many people ask me what my tattoos mean, and they literally mean nothing. They mean, I like Grim Reapers as imagery, and I wanted one really, really big. That's it.
Yeah.
But other people, like, I have a story to all my tattoos. I can tell you exactly what I was thinking in that point.
They're like a time mark almost.
Yeah, I mean, most of them was like, fuck that person, fuck this person. Like, I'm moving on. My life is like always steps in my life, like new chapters, and usually that means like cutting out toxic people in my life. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a tattoo. I did a good thing for myself.
That's hilarious.
But other people want to pack it full of meaning, and you gotta hear those stories too.
I have like 2 tattoos set up next, and one of them is a Snorlax that I'm getting on my thigh, and then a Sailor Moon wand on my arm. And Josh was saying, it's like, oh, you're just gonna, and I want to get a Harry Potter one next, and he's like, you're just gonna get like TV references. I'm like, yes, absolutely, they bring me joy.
The Sailor Moon wand is gonna be
so excited.
I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that one.
I got no tattoos on me. You got none either, right, Sergio?
Nope.
You guys are unicorns.
Losers. Well, technically, I have a dot on my finger.
From what?
Drunk night with my buddy who had a tattoo machine.
It's funny that like a lot of dots, the random dots that people have, it is always the same story. We got really drunk.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a shitload of just tattoos in general. They're like drunk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. You ever hear like parties that have tattoo? Like, I've been to one.
I've never
getting tattooed.
I've never been to one or seen it. But when I was like between the ages of like 18 to 20 or so, I was trying to get into tattooing and did like a handful. And, word got around, and one of my friends was like, oh, I'm having a party. Will you come tattoo people? And I was like, no, like that sounds horrible. Like, it's a weird thing it was like you're the entertainment, you go. And I don't know, I've never seen it before. The only kind of atmosphere would be like a tattoo expo, where it's kind of like, that's the only thing I can think of but even then, like, you still have to be clean with tattooing. So I don't know exactly how you would, I don't know. It's a weird concept to me.
I don't
totally
know.
The conventions take a lot, and it's a lot to do with like the health department. The health department goes around and make sure that every artist like has their papers. If they're from out of this country, they have to go through a process to get their papers. It's pretty in depth. when it comes to keeping it clean and like a hotel, ballroom. It's really weird.
Have you been to the one at the Cow Palace in San Francisco?
No, but the shop that I work the front for in San Jose, they run the Bay Area Tattoo Convention. The State of Grace.
No, I've only been to the one at the Cow Palace. And when I went, this was like 10 years ago. And a fight broke out, like, because all like the norteños were on one side and all the sureños were on the other. And like,
oh my God.
Like it was a huge, because it was, the Cow Palace is massive and there's tons of people. And the security guards, the minute that they were fighting, they left. They're like, we're not going to deal with this.
They were probably way outnumbered.
Good move.
Too.
Yeah.
You can get
I would leave too.
You can get a fucking solar panel light thing stabbed in through the chest if you jump in on something
Stab
like
with a spoon. Yeah, the convention, the Bay Area Tattoo Convention, like all those artists are handpicked.
Oh, okay.
Like they are specifically reached out to, and there you don't find a lot of like weird gang related stuff because it's like purely about their art.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, that stuff totally exists within that world, but maybe
it's definitely
just
like a cholo style of tattooing, right?
Absolutely. Right. And it's huge in San Francisco, of course, and up here.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I don't know that much.
When you switch to like a medium like tattooing where like your artwork is seems like it would be so well transitioned to that style. But you're saying like that there's certain things that kind of have to change because of it.
Yeah.
Do you end up liking certain things? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you like, I kind of like how it looks now that I'm forced to go this route?
Totally. I think that it refined a lot of the things that I couldn't see before. Like a lot of my stuff was like hyper detailed no, it didn't have to be.
Right.
It was super detailed for, I don't know, like I would draw every little hair on like a monster. And I noticed that tattooing doesn't just simplify, but it does it in a really smart way where everyone can read it. You can read that something is an eagle, even if it's been on like some old guy's skin for, 50 years.
Right.
You see him at Disneyland with his family, and you're like, that's an eagle, that blob.
Right. Even though that sheet of paper has been thrown through the wash 100 times.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And, and baked in the sun on summer days.
Totally.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, me and MJ were kind of playing around with murals, and I've noticed that there has to be a change in like
an adaptation.
Yeah,
too.
it's like you can't do all these like different surfaces and mediums all kind of dictate something to do. At least for me, it's like I have to hold on to a part of what I'm trying to deliver while at the same I'm trying to like still be read as my work while adapting to what the medium and the surface dictates.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting. Same with the tablet. Even though on the tablet I'm trying to do something totally different, it's a new thing to me, and I'm like, how do I still kind of stay true to myself while trying to do something that's more design heavy?
The tablets are strange.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten used to them. Went out of my way, got one, and now Lauren uses it. So it just doesn't click with me. Like Wacom tablets never clicked with me, and I thought it was because there's like a part of you removed. Like you're not drawing directly on the thing. You're like drawing in your lap, and then you're looking at a screen. So I thought that like the tablet would be great because then I'm just like drawing directly on the screen, but nah, I just don't like it.
Yeah. If I was trying to like accomplish what I do in my like in the real world, I would just hate the tablet. But
yeah,
what I'm using it for is nothing like what I do in my art. Well, hopefully it's a little something of what I do in my art, but
totally.
But yeah,
maybe for like color prompts, I can see the tablet being really cool for that because then your client can see where you're going with the colors before they're like, oh, I want that sweater to be green, not red. And you're like, well, you didn't tell me that. And now it's painted on there.
Right.
Are you doing a bunny wearing a sweater? Is that what you're saying?
I should totally do that. Somebody come get that for me. I'll draw that.
Cute.
That'd be
Maybe I'll just make bunnies my new thing.
Yeah, totally. I think you should.
What would be on the sweater?
Celine Dion.
Speaking of Josh.
How dare you guys?
Celine Dion tour t-shirt.
I wanted to ask Gan about this artist. It's an artist from Seoul, and I actually think you showed me this person, Josh. It's Mio.
I sent it to you before.
Coach Leah. And I really like their work.
How do you spell it?
COCH.
Right.
Something.
Yeah.
But it's like their lines are so fine. And what I've learned, the little that I know about tattoos, is that it's a little dangerous to go that thin. But I don't know what your thoughts are on it, and I'm just curious.
Since I don't have as much experience with tattoos, it's hard for me to say because, people are always changing the envelope and doing stuff that they didn't think was possible before.
Right.
And I had a couple of talks with a couple of very trusted artists. Mm-hmm. And, I was just talking about me tattooing or starting my apprenticeship and asking them for advice, and they were saying that my work would look good as tattoos, but there are traditional things that just make a tattoo work, and that one of those things is thick line work,
right?
Which, and not even necessarily thick, but just solid lines. And that person that has solid lines, I think those tattoos look great.
Yeah,
I think some things are a little small, and over time, the skin just starts attacking the ink and tries to break it down, so that's why things spread and become blue,
right?
Because your body's actively trying to get rid of it. So maybe something like that, you'll have some fallout in the future, but then you just go back and get it touched up,
right? And that was my main question, is this type of tattoo, the lines are so thin, that there's a tattoo there that has almost like a dragonfly wings, where it's almost see-through and very, very, very light. So it's how long does that last? How long do you have to go before touching that up? That's awesome. Yeah.
The schoolgirl riding a bird.
Yeah. I would love to go get tattooed by that person, but you'd have to go to Korea.
I love their illustrations too,
and that's what's really cool, and that's one of the things that stands out with that person, is that they've completely just translated their artwork to their tattoos.
Totally,
100%.
And I really I love their artwork. Josh showed me them a while ago.
Yeah, I was this kind of reminds me of you, because they're just dark, but not they're dark and cute.
Right.
They're dark and cute,
or something like that. Even things that aren't really that cute. It's just kind of the context makes it not so serious. Maybe that's what it is. Not necessarily cute, but just it's not taking itself too serious, which I kind of like.
Totally.
Sometimes dark can just be dark for,
dark for dark's sake.
Yeah, or just gothic kids that just go too hard. And you're relax, man.
Yeah.
Right.
I knew a lot of kids in high school that would draw that. They'd be this is angst. This is full angst.
Yeah, exactly.
This is me going 120%.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's just not necessary. I like making cute things just a little sinister.
Yeah.
It's way more interesting to me, and they're cute as fuck.
I think so, too.
That's my favorite. I still am trying to find that in my artwork, where I want to show, I don't want to be overly dark with my stuff. I'm not saying that you are, but it's
Do you think you are dark?
No, but it's I'm trying to figure out how to add dark elements to my artwork without being too I'm trying to make it more subtle.
Just give your girls, just don't give them any eyeballs. Or make it all white. That's all you have to do.
And that's kind of what I used to do. When I first started drawing, I used to draw zombie girls and paint zombie girls, and they were just zombies. And then I went and okay,
Zombabes.
It was a worse version of Stephen Black's artwork. And so then Stephen Russell Black, right?
Russell Black,
and and then I went into whatever I'm doing now, but now I want to kind of take a little bit of that, put it back into it, but not go full zombie girl.
I always feel like, for me, if I add dark elements to my art, it's always like an outside influence of dark, which always seems to help because the character, like the mural we're going to do, there's a dark figure.
Right.
There's kind of a dark narrative a little bit, but it doesn't feel so dark because the main figure isn't perceived as dark.
Right.
It's like or like sometimes I'll do like figures and then there's like a second figure that's interacting with them that's like a dark, ominous being.
Right.
And that allows it to be dark without the main figure kind of seeming dark. I don't know. Yeah. That's my solution to it.
There's something I'm missing that I'm just trying to figure out. It's tough because it's like I'm in a place with my artwork where I'm just in like this weird transition period where I'm really trying to capture some of that, where it's like the cute dark.
Right.
And make it work, because it's like one of my favorite movies I think I've mentioned before is Pan's Labyrinth, and I love that essence where it's like this dark fantasy, but there's also it's not quite to like the Hellboy.
But I don't understand what they're saying. What are they talking about? His words don't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Is that English? I love that movie too. I, for the record, thought that was a children's movie when I rented it. And I wasn't a child myself, but I remember watching it 3 times over because I was so shocked. I was like, whoa.
And then you saw the rated R after. I know it took a while to see the rated R.
Yeah,
I had no idea what that movie was about. When I watched it in theater, and I just heard the people in front of me say, like, it's supposed to be great. And we're like, let's just watch that movie then. And we watched it, was like, that movie was awesome.
Was that when you guys were like movie hopping?
Yeah, but we paid to go watch
Pan's Labyrinth.
I don't know. We might have movie hopped. I don't remember who, but we might have. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah.
But I just remember we went to watch Pan's Labyrinth. But we went to go watch movies. That one was specifically the one we picked to pay for.
Yeah. Yeah. I just that's like my favorite genre is like that dark. I think Gan and I were talking about, or I'm not sure if it was Gan, but it's like that magical realism where it's
totally.
I know, but like, because we go to like random estate sales and garage sales, and I'm always like, oh, what do you think of this to MJ? And it looks dark. And I think like, because MJ, when we do these photo shoots, she photo shoots usually in like a cutesy way. And I'm always like, you should take it to like if you can create a scene where like a lady's in the middle of a living room, like in pure chaos, like
getting sacrificed,
like, or like even just like burning a fire or something like that. Like that can be made cute based on the palette or something.
Right.
But if you make it look serious to begin with, as far as like the picture is concerned,
right,
and then you decide the cutesy, you could literally just like put in like bunnies or something,
right,
to make it cute. But it's I think the initial image has to read dark for you to then.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Translate the cute out of it, or like pull the cute out of it. Yeah.
Right, and then just add like a lighter palette or something. Yeah. I love that. That's exactly what I need to do.
$10. That's what we're
your
here for.
advice is cheap.
Are you working towards any shows?
I think me and Lauren have a show in December, but nothing in particular right now. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah. If you were offered a solo show, would you feel ready for that and like stoked?
Hell no, but I would do it.
I wouldn't feel ready for that. Yeah. I probably wouldn't do it.
Well, you didn't do it when you got offered a solo show.
That's right. That's how I roll.
No, thank you.
I'm not all talk.
Yeah. It's a scary thought, though. It's like to have like a solo show and have it be 100% yours is, I just think, kind of like a terrifying idea.
I know. Yeah. And the older I get, the more I feel financially responsible for that work. Like the gallery, I have to come through on my end as far as like making sales, which even though it's their job, I still feel like a large part of that is creating a good product that people really want.
Yeah, I find it hard Because nobody really wants like a big demon bird on their wall, or maybe they do.
I'm sure there's people.
Yeah, there's that whole like dark art genre.
If they do want a big demon bird on their wall, like hit me up. But most of the people that want that probably aren't rich people.
I know, that is the tricky thing.
What do rich people want?
They want fucking
them out of their money.
Big color swatches that
Right.
Yeah.
they don't really want any of our shit really. There's
They
a
don't want anything
small
with
percentage. Yeah. They just want big color to
Big
contrast
color.
against their white walls.
Yeah, it's just
Of their giant mansions.
Of their giant mansions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their big self-portraits of them.
I can relate.
Full dick. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, right? That's the shitty thing is art is kind of supposed to be made for art is kind of go ahead, take a PMJ. Don't worry, we'll keep talking. But yeah, art is kind of made usually to have like commentary on the world you live in and like to connect with the people around you. But art has decided, like painting art has decided that like it kind of wants to be it kind of wants to have this standard of like excellency that only the rich can afford or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I think like prints and all those things are kind of trying to combat that.
Totally.
But-
and I think that in order for like our friends and family to afford
Yeah,
that
for
shit,
sure.
like you got to make prints.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like it is kind of a status thing. I mean, it totally is a status thing. The art
Right.
world has always been about status. It's been about socialites and Andy Warhol and his fucking shithead friends. I hate them all.
Hell yeah.
Oh God, it's awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always tried to make my stuff affordable, but there's certain things that like, I have a big painting. I'm asking $800 for it.
Right.
That's like pennies.
That's nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
big paintings are fucking thousands of dollars.
For sure. If not tens of thousands.
Totally.
Or hundreds of thousands, depending on the artist.
For their sheer size.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I don't know. That's like a question I always think about is how do you convince people that this is worth buying because it's not cheap? And it like, at least for an original piece, it really can't be cheap. Like
Honestly, you know what it takes? A shit-eating grin, charisma. I mean, look at some of the artists that are selling their work to big people. Like, their art sucks. And I'm not going to name any examples, but, like, they're just...
You want to talk some shit?
Yes. They're just cheeky, charismatic people that people want to be friends with. And you, like, kind of have to play up the cool kid factor.
I know.
Like, if you're a cool kid, people just want to give you things.
Right.
It's same, like, if you're rich, people just want to give you things.
Right. It's we were talking about that with I forget which the one guy that does the fucking the metal like balloon animal things. What's his fucking name?
Oh, Jeff Koons.
Jeff Koons. Yeah, there you go. How like we were looking at pictures of him and I was like, he just looks like a guy that rich people get along with. He just looks like he fits in those circles perfectly. I will never fit in those circles. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe that could also be your edge too, because people that don't fit in and find their way to be a cool kid, somehow they make it work.
Yeah, maybe. Or just find a different pathway.
Yeah.
That's I think what the more and more I think about, the more I think like figuring out how to scale things and like prints and products that you can mass produce and sell to people that are stoked on your work but can't afford fucking expensive shit. And then if the rich people want to come and buy your expensive shit, fine, but I'm not gonna beg and plead for you to like
totally
to come and spend your money with me, especially if you can probably make a shitload more money going the other route.
Right. Well, it's like what we were talking about with like art fairs, where one of our friends said that that he's been doing art full time for the last like 4 years, and he makes all of his money at art fairs.
Yeah, and he lives in the city. He's not the biggest artist.
No, he doesn't have the biggest following or anything, but it's like he says that he just does well at the art fairs. And this other lady that he works with, her name is Mackenzie, I think, and she does like somewhat similar to my stuff, where it's like figures and animals, but it's more like children based, and she's making $1 million off of art fairs. Wow. And he
art
like
fairs.
that they're like during a big weekend they're making like 20 grand.
Oh,
yeah.
What am I doing?
But it's also like a ton of work, like you have to put the money into merchandising. You're spending your weekend like at an inner like face to face with all your customers, and trying to sell them stuff. We were speaking to Tony Brown, and he was saying that one of his friends during a Comic-Con has like a menu that he hands out during Comic-Con, and then you're like, oh, I'll take a button, I'll take a sticker, I'll take a print, and he's just handing out menus to people, and again, like 20 grand during a weekend. But it's like that's like you have to sign up, know that you're signing up for like essentially that you're making yourself a store, right? But
if you can do it full time, the weekends don't seem that bad. If you have your week free to do shit,
but it's like the setup, the takedown, the traveling, like the hotel, like you have to sign yourself up for that and be okay with that as well,
for sure.
That's a whole nother.
Making merchandise is a whole other venture too, because like I don't know how to vector things.
That's exactly my issue. I've been trying to work on an enamel pin for 3 years, and I think I've cried twice because I can't figure out how to use Illustrator to vector something, because I've started and then I've done something and completely had to start over.
You know what makes me really mad?
Make any sense? Do you hit Control?
I don't remember. I don't know Illustrator.
It makes me so mad because Lauren taught himself how to, one, use an iPad, and then two, vector images within like a week. And then he's like, I'll teach you how. And I'm like, I don't want you to teach me. I want you to do it.
MJ's the very opposite. She's like, oh, I want you to learn so that you can teach me. I'm like, I don't want to teach you.
Well, Lauren could teach you.
Oh, yeah. I'll ask. That's actually perfect. I'll ask Lauren.
Oh, you would like that.
Well, the other thing, too, is like speaking about selling art, it's like we've had that discussion where, say you have a great year and you sell all your artwork, you're still not going to make a lot of money. Unless you're like Jeremy Mann, who's selling his paintings at 20 grand and you're making 10 off of each painting. Even if you're selling, I think, I kind of stalk people's art shows, and even if they sell out, like I've seen people sell out and I'm like, oh, that's awesome, they sold out. And then I've added the numbers up and they'll say, well, they made 10 grand. And it's like, it's
like maybe a year's work of painting.
Yeah. Like it's a solo show. You worked your ass off. You sold out and you made 10 grand. So now what? You can't live off of 10 grand a year.
Not at all.
Yeah. So that's kind of like why even the most successful artists need to figure out other means. Yeah. At the same time, Alex Gross did that Game of Thrones print. It made like 20 grand off of a drop.
Wow.
Like at least.
Was it like $200 a print?
It was like $200 a print, and he sold out like a $200 run. And I think, I can't remember, it must have been more, maybe like 40.
Damn.
That's good. I mean, that's the whole, but he's taking advantage of like the hype behind the pop culture of it,
right.
Which is great if you're like into doing that. I can't do that shit. Like, to me, I'm not trying to paint Game of Thrones people, which no diss to anyone that wants to do that shit. I just don't.
I actually would love one of those prints. They're really cool.
Yeah.
It's like all the Game of Thrones and they're all eating like a donut or like drinking an iced tea. Yeah, they're really cool.
Poor Theon's eating a hot dog.
Is he?
I don't remember. So funny.
A hot dog.
That's hilarious.
That's great. I saw that on Reddit and it was just like, God. Like,
I wonder if that's why it got so huge.
Maybe.
Probably.
Because
Reddit loved it. It was on the front page.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, Adam Caldwell got on the front page of Reddit, and he said that he sold like 4 huge price point pieces overnight because he's like, I don't know what happened, and he had just sold them.
Right.
I think he had them on his website, and then he's like, oh, I got on like front page of Reddit, and I
fucking love Reddit.
Yeah, me too. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
It is the best social media.
I don't know it very well, but Josh has told me about it, and I've tried to like post stuff on there. I'm like, I don't get it.
It's the reason why it's so great is it's made so that no one is out for yourself.
Right.
Everyone is just trying to add to the conversation.
Right.
And like have a good time. It's literally like no one's like, how many followers I have? No one gives a shit about that. It's just like, oh my God, that's cute. That's awesome. This is fun.
Yeah. It's like purely about subject matter. Like there's no pictures of you unless you post them on like Girls Gone Wild, because they definitely have that shit everywhere. But I fucking love Reddit. I really have been enjoying Kids Are Fucking Stupid.
I don't know if I follow it.
Best subreddit. Really? That's just where like people post like stupid shit that their kids say and do and videos. Like it's great.
Yeah. One of my favorites is Hold My Beer.
Hold My Beer is good too. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. Or Hold My Cosmo, because it's like blonde white girls doing stupid shit.
Hold My Feeding Tube. Have you seen those?
No.
Hold My Feeding Tube is hilarious. And then there's one that's like Hold My Will. Hold My Casket.
Hold My Casket. It's just old people in that one? What is that?
No, it's just like it's like people getting hurt.
Like really bad?
Sometimes really bad. Or like people like trying to do a backflip and they end up like landing straight on their back and they're just like
I follow one called Fullshrimp that's kind of like that, where people like bend like a shrimp and a lot of times it's the wrong way and you're like but it's so funny.
That sounds awful.
Hell yeah.
This has been a nice commercial for Reddit.
Yeah, we need to get sponsored by Reddit.
Hell yeah, that'd be
Reddit
great.
doesn't sponsor anyone. That's why the other thing is Reddit's kind of like segregated. So if you want to go to like the darkest shit, you can.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the lightest shit, but you like. It seems like doing that kind of allows it to not be super like censorship-y. Like other social medias. Like if you want to see like boobs, you can go find boobs. If you want to see a decapitated head, you can go find a
It does show that stuff?
Oh yeah. There's this one called 50-50 or something like that where you hit a button.
Oh, you told me about that. That sounds
show you, like,
horrible.
And then like you click it again, like every time you click it, it's like 50% chance that like you'll see something cute or you'll see something like horrific.
That's awful.
You see stuff that you cannot unsee.
Yeah.
They did apparently start censoring Reddit a little bit.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I'm trying to remember what.
Who? Was it Alex Jones shit or something like that?
They sold it to some Chinese company, I believe. I don't know too much about it, so I have to read about it. But there are.
Don't ruin Reddit.
They took away 2 subreddits. I don't know. You can look at the subreddit Conspiracy because they're all about it. Actually, Conspiracy predicted a lot of things, like this giant pedophile ring that's happening right now. Conspiracy was on their ass like 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
They were saying that shit, if not earlier.
That guy specific, or because I know there's like the Pizzagate thing was
out.
like, oh really?
He was called out specifically, and the charges against him they were dropped like. I think in 2008 there was somebody that was trying to sue him.
Right.
And she dropped the charges for whatever, probably money. Right. You know, it sucks.
Yeah. Money can buy you a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Probably almost everything.
That's what everyone's swiftly learning. Thank you, internet.
Yeah.
Because everyone's starting to see the gross divide between the class.
Right.
There's a class war. This is, if anything else. I mean, bring out the fucking guillotines. Let's eat the rich. What are we doing here?
I mean, I'm not for that. Buy my paintings.
I'm going to eat your ass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's weird times right now.
Yeah. It's not just like self-made rich people I'm talking about. I'm talking about like bankers and people, old money. Because all the new money, that's all from tech mostly.
Right.
And those motherfuckers don't know how to spend their money, and they're not spending it on art like they should, like good little boys do.
Yeah, I don't know
girls.
what the fuck they spend their money on.
More tech. Skateboards that you can press a button and you go. Skateboards you don't have to push. One-wheelers.
Yeah, they're just
two-wheelers.
pretty much little cars is what they're buying, spending their money on.
Smaller and
like,
smaller
why the fuck
cars.
would you want a skateboard you don't push? That's kind of the point.
I want a Tesla on my feet.
Oh, man, it's the best when you see them in their loafers and their khaki shorts and their teal weird shirt. And they're just like trying to balance on their board in AT&T Park. You see it all the time.
Did you hear about that like whole vest thing with them? Like,
what?
That like vest companies like what the fuck like what's that? I think it starts with a P. Patagonia.
Oh.
They were like, we're not making vests for IT companies anymore because I guess these IT companies are spending shitloads of money buying these vests, these loser vests. Because what happened was when like the economy busted, there was like this weird hatred towards people wearing suits. So they were like, what we'll do is wear fucking khaki shorts and vests.
Oh my god!
And so it became like the
uniform.
Yeah, like the uniform that they wear
to look
like
normal.
But then there's like these weird like vest status things like, oh, I got a fucking Patagonia like Google vest, so you know I'm fucking in, and they're like very exclusive. Like not all your employees get them. Like the high end people get them.
Damn.
It's the lamest shit ever. It's so fucking garbage.
That's what shows you, people that move to the big city from like Ohio. That's what they find exciting.
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Oh, I heard. I was thinking of you again yesterday because I was listening to an episode of My Favorite Murder, and they were talking about Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
And there was like,
oh my god, I said it like my friend Dylan. Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
That's how Dylan was from New Jersey.
There's no
He
K?
would put the K there.
Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie.
And that there was like this crazy murder there.
Yeah, the Poughkeepsie tapes. Oh my god, I almost did it. Poughkeepsie.
Sorry, I just thought about that when you were talking about just locations.
The weirdo that lived with his mother, and he murdered lots of prostitutes and took videos of it. And the cops found the videos. I forgot how.
God.
I forgot how he was caught. But yeah, it was scary. Poughkeepsie is scary in general. Like,
is it?
Oh yeah, it's like weird and decrepit, and oh god, it's a fucked up, strange place.
Santa Rosa's got its dirt, though. Everywhere's got its dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's got some dark murderer fuck that was living there at some point.
Yeah, you guys on the Pacific Northwest, man. Like, it's a hotbed for all the fucking freaky killers.
Here? Oh, yeah. This area has the worst, like, some of the darkest shit.
But you mean more like Oregon and Washington, right? Like,
yeah.
like the hotbed
also
of
like San
serial
Francisco.
killers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
The Zodiac.
Like
Zodiac.
Mendocino.
The Golden State Killer.
Golden State.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you guys are both into that shit, huh?
Yes.
I'm very into it.
I don't care at all. I'm the one that can introduced My Favorite Murder to her, and the first time she listened to it, she was not into it.
Really?
I'm like, I thought you would like this.
Well, I just wasn't into podcasts. I'm like, it's just like radio. Like, it was weird. But then I became obsessed with them.
Podcast
Big
killed the
mistake.
radio star.
Yeah.
Or at least brought it back to life.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Hold my casket or whatever.
Hold my casket.
Boom.
I think it was Hold My Will. I think is the best one.
Hold my will. That is so ridiculous.
Oh my god. I love when Reddit gets caught in like a loop of everyone just writing nice. And, like there's thousands of comments and it's just like nice. It's usually if like someone like writes out boob on a calculator and they post a picture of it, people just write nice.
I love the comment
thousands.
section. That's the one place where I'll like sit and read comments for so long.
Yeah. Oh, same. And they make me laugh hysterically.
So
like
hard.
I love askreddit is probably my favorite.
askreddit?
Yeah, because that's when they ask people like, what is the most awful thing you did to your sibling?
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite my favorite comment. It was so far down, but I still laugh at it, and I'm bringing it up right now. This girl, when her baby brother was born, she was like, I guess she lived in like the country, but they were visiting like their family friends, and there were a bunch of cows in a field, and she's like, we're gonna go outside to play, and her brother was like 2 and she was maybe 6. She brought him out there and like left him by the cows and just like walked away without him, thinking that they'd adopt him and like take him away.
Holy shit.
And she said that still to this day he's terrified of cows and doesn't know why.
That's so fucked.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing you've done to your sibling? Let's hear it.
I can't. Well, since I'm the youngest, I'm going to flip it. The worst thing that my sibling has done to me.
Way to play victim.
I am a victim. She shoved a devil dog, you know, those like little cake treats. They're like hostess cake treats. She grabbed it, shoved it into my forehead, and threw me against the wall. My head hit the wall so hard that my front tooth popped out.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Stephanie's an asshole.
Was it loose at the time?
It was loose. Yeah.
Okay.
It was totally loose. She shoved me so hard, and like then I'm just sitting there with like probably a concussion and like hostess in my hair.
That's fucking
She's
hilarious.
a bitch.
I'm the oldest, so I used to shove my dirty socks into my sister's mouth.
See? Older sibling.
Pretty
Yeah.
shitty.
I don't think I would survive if I did something shitty to my sibling.
What do you got, Sergio?
I've always been a complete angel.
Oh, shit.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's probably like the standard, like, drop them or something like that. Like, hold a baby and, like, you're way too young to hold a baby, so you lose your grip on them.
Oh, it's
On purpose?
accidental.
No, on purpose. That's not trying to.
That's not that bad.
I know. That's what I'm trying to think. There's.
MJ just did that not that long ago.
Oh yeah, I dropped my cousin's baby. It was horrible.
Oh no! I thought
It
you
was
meant
like
like
arm
shoved your
strength as
socks
well.
into your sibling's mouth.
What was that?
I thought he meant that you like shoved your socks into your sibling's mouth recently.
Oh no,
No. She
no!
dropped the
I
baby.
dropped my cousin's,
Oh,
but it was
man.
like a toddler, or he is a toddler, and he was fine. I
Hey,
just
man, they
felt
bounce.
like an asshole. I know.
Yeah, it was also arm strength. That was her reasoning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of for me is just like beat
Yeah, you guys would beat each
them
other
up.
up.
Beat him up.
You
Well, you
should
guys
tell-
had you guys were all brothers, right?
Yeah.
You have a sister though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would call my sister a lesbian for like a year and she cried. And was like, I'm not lesbian. I'm like, I know, I was joking.
Have you told the Moesha story with your brother though?
But I didn't do that.
Right, but that's like out of your siblings. I feel like that's the worst kind of fight that I've heard of.
Where he got like a black eye.
Right. Well, he has a lazy eye now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I mean, my brother Gabe and Jeremy, they fought a couple times intensely. So they fought over watching Moesha, or I think Jerry Springer. I can't remember the second show. And they kept going. It was like when you would have to walk up to the fucking TV to change the
Right,
channel.
yeah.
And so one was like, I'm watching fucking this. And then he would sit down and then another one would get up and they started fighting. And then my brother kneed my other brother in the eye. And he had like one of those like eggs over his eyes.
Damn.
And then there was another time we were having a water fight. And then right at the end, the way it ended was my brother Gabe, they started arguing, and my brother Gabe, he had like one of those like large super soakers that wasn't even ours, it was our friends, and he broke it over my brother Jeremy's head, like
Oh my gosh.
demolished it, and then Jeremy started fighting him, and they got each other like tied up, and Jeremy's head was right near Gabe's arm, so he took a chunk out of Gabe's arm, and there's still like a mark on his arm.
Jesus.
On Gabe's arm?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Damn.
But they were the worst, right? Them two
No.
together would fight.
Gabe always says I was the worst because I used to like chase him down the street with knives and saying I'm going to kill him.
Oh my God.
So there's Josh.
Yeah, no
You
shit.
never told me that.
Yeah. But they would pick on me so hard till I was like, fuck you. And, I was like, and so I would like go in the kitchen, grab knives, and they would just start running and I would chase them.
Were they? And I'm assuming they were faster than you at that point.
Yeah, I was little. They were like in middle school. I was in elementary school.
Oh.
And then there was one time my brother, he did something to me and he hopped on a bike and I hopped on my bike and I started chasing him. And we went to like a T, like where the road T, so you have to go left or right.
Mm-hmm.
And he was chasing me. I did something to him. He was chasing me. And we were approaching the T, and I turned around to look at him. And when I turned back around, the T was there, and there was a car right in front of me, and I went straight into it. And then he just laughed at me and said, "Fuck you," or some shit like that. And then biked off, and I just cried in the street until it was okay to bike home. And I cried all the way home.
I was always fiercely defending my siblings, especially Stephanie, the mean one. I remember this girl in my neighborhood made Stephanie cry. This is my mom's story when she realized that I was a lot more trouble than I seemed. Because I just started talking, and I had a lerp and a Bronx accent. I sounded like an old Italian lady from the Bronx.
As a child?
As a child, yeah.
That sounds adorable.
I know, I want to hear it. I wish you had video. I love it.
My mom definitely has video. They actually have video of me having a total meltdown when I realized that I wasn't getting on the bus in kindergarten, because the first day of school, the parents had to drive the kindergartners in so they see how everything goes, and I did not know that. I had a meltdown.
Right. You were like, "I'll tell you what the fuck is going on. You're gonna let me in that fucking bus. I will cut all your throats."
My mom could have sworn that I was the reincarnate of her mother, because I would go around and say, "Where's my pocketbook?" My mom's like, "I never called it a pocketbook. I don't know where you heard that from." Where's my pocketbook?
That is hilarious.
No,
or Taco Bell.
New York.
No, that's New York. Oh, I didn't realize why you had done that at the beginning. Is it because Gam's here?
It's so funny. Everyone else that I meet from the East Coast, within the first moments of meeting them, they usually tell me that they're from the East Coast. They're like, "Yeah, I'm from New Jersey, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm from New York. We're not from here. We don't associate ourselves here."
Right.
Yeah.
You guys are like vegans in that way.
Yeah. We're East Coasters.
But you said I still wanted to hear your Stephanie story.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this girl, my mom was picking up me and this girl that made Stephanie cry. Without Stephanie. Stephanie wasn't there. I just heard that she made Stephanie, saw that she's made Stephanie cry. And the little girl gets in the car. I'm fucking 2, so I'm in my seat. And I look over at her and I'm like, "Why you make my Deffy cry?" My mom was like, "Jessica, it's okay." And her mom's sitting up front. They're just like, "Shut up." But I looked like I was going to kill her, apparently.
That's so cute.
My car seat. At 2. Yeah, which was also my first crush as well.
Oh my
and it was on a high school boy.
What?
That's so crazy. I don't remember stuff from when I was 2.
Me neither. It's literally what people tell me.
Oh, I see.
When you were in your car seat, were you wearing Timberlands?
No.
That's crazy.
No, I don't know what little shoes I had. Probably Nike or something.
I just always assumed East Coasters were born with them on their feet.
And they grow with you.
Yeah, and a puffy jacket.
Yeah. Those Pelly.
Oh, Pele.
Yeah.
It's from a rap song.
Yeah.
The puffy
Nope,
jacket.
it's not. It's from a brand that they then talk about in a rap song.
Yeah, I heard.
It was
I don't know.
referenced in a lot of rap songs.
Oh, MJ.
Josh and I are going to New York next year.
I want to go.
Come with us.
Yeah, I
It'll be
actually
fun.
really miss it. I do.
Yeah,
I miss all my friends.
We've got a show out there next year.
in Soho, right?
Greenwich?
Greenwich. That's right. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's awesome. I love Greenwich.
Exciting.
No idea how anything. I don't know anything about New York.
I don't either.
I don't know what Greenwich is like now. I know, Greenwich was always the super cool place to go.
Mm-hmm.
They also had a lot of little side streets with crazy sex shops.
Ooh.
We would just go in
I'll bring
to
an extra
browse.
suitcase.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a shit ton of really awesome galleries around there and really nice churches. Yeah, I mean, I haven't walked around that area of the city in forever.
Yeah, how is it in November? Because that's when we're probably going to go.
It'll be chilly. Like, I would definitely get a puffy jacket and some Timberlands. Would recommend, 100%.
A fat-ass gold chain.
Definitely a Yankees hat.
I heart New York shirt.
Yes. Actually, I found out that guy who created the I Heart New York, I think it was Milton Glazier.
Yeah.
He works at SVA. Which I didn't know that he made that until after I graduated. I didn't have him because I wasn't a graphic designer, but I was like, that's cool. I thought it was just like a timeless image.
Right.
It's one of those images that you don't.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that somebody had to design it. You're like, oh yeah.
Well, especially in like the days, this day where emojis are like part of our vocabulary.
Right.
It's another language.
Yeah. So it's like that's not that impressive to us. We're like, I'll have a full sentence with no words.
I'll have a full sentence, please.
Somebody had to create the Nike swoosh.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed.
And the Adidas lines.
Still not impressed. I mean,
Russia's impressed. Russia loves Adidas.
Really?
The jumpsuits. Or wait, is it like the Chads in Britain or something? Chads.
I have no idea.
I forgot what subculture wears like full Adidas.
I was just thinking I want to start wearing jumpsuits.
We'll do it. No one's stopping you.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Juicy.
Yeah.
The worst. Just when the juicy on the butt.
Yeah.
Jumpsuits.
Like weird Pepto-Bismol pink.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's just because it's moist in there.
Yeah.
Nice. God.
Juicy. Wipe better. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was actually a warning label.
Yeah.
And some guys are just like, hell yeah. Butt juice.
Yeah. What do they call that? Truffle butter?
Truffle butter.
Truffle butter?
Yeah. That's what someone called it when the butt juice from sexual activities.
Oh.
I don't think you had to explain it.
Just save you guys some time on Google. You know what I mean?
Or DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
DuckDuckGo.
Should we talk about whatever you wanted to talk about, Sergio? Here, we'll do the artist one first so we could... So this guy painted a mural. This the guy that painted it?
No, this guy apparently. So I don't know if you guys know about
artist uniform on.
Yeah, I was gonna say he looks like a motherfucking artist to me.
All artists, like whenever you have those, like you have to. A lot of the artists and then people that are like buyers will dress like this too. Mm-hmm. At least in San Francisco, where they've got like very colorful glasses.
Velvet scarf.
Yeah, and then the scarf.
Totally about like the statement glasses.
Yeah,
every time.
Right.
Some white jeans, probably.
Well, it's like you can't. It's definitely you have to have those like really graphic glass frames.
Yeah, I fucking hate that.
If your glasses aren't round, what are you doing?
Am I supposed to go somewhere, Sergio? See how good I am at this?
I don't know if you guys know about the San Francisco mural in at that high school in San Francisco where they're planning on repainting a mural because it's controversial. It's called, here's the picture of it, called The Life of George Washington. And it has the parts of it where
like slaves.
It's like white colonists. I think they were standing on top of Indians, or natives.
Oh.
I believe so. But so it was controversial back in like the 70s. They were actually planning on doing the same sort of thing where they're going to repaint it. So what this guy did instead, so they were going to hire him to repaint the mural back in the 70s. Instead, what he did was create his own mural, and that's the one that's in the back there.
These ones here?
I believe that's one. That one there. So, I just felt like that is probably the better way to go about it. Just create more art around it that is more to, I guess, today's what people want to say about culture today instead of tear down something.
So he just added to it?
Not even so much add to it. It's a separate mural in a different part of the school, I believe.
So the problem with the first mural is that they have like Native American something to do with that and slavery, right?
Right.
And people want to get rid of it now, and it's like a thing.
That is really controversial because I think his response was the right one. I don't think painting over it is necessarily wise because that is a part of our ugly past.
Right.
You know, like we fucking did that. If you paint over it, people are going to try to just like pretend like that didn't happen.
Right.
But like the motherfucking Trail of Tears happened. Their genocide is what this country was built on. And we should definitely notice that.
Yeah.
And I think that what those murals that he painted, it looks like they're really empowering to the people that have gone through those struggles.
Yeah. And not only that, but like
I didn't see
the Native American down there. Yeah. But the other thing too is like, I feel like everyone nowadays thinks that if you create something, that's glorifying the thing. That doesn't necessarily mean it's like, even though if this painting was made to glorify them killing Indians, which I don't know if it was.
It wasn't actually. It was actually, this was made in the 1920s, and it was radical back then because it was like one of the first times people were really like commenting on on the American past in a way like this.
So they were documenting it as a fact, like this is what's happening.
Like this is the dark part of our history.
And
people can't handle that. It's like this isn't glorifying the actions. It's telling you the actions.
Right.
And a piece of artwork can be about something whilst at the same time not glorifying it, but just giving you context that you can take in and then I don't know. It's
this
stupid.
image doesn't make me want to go trample Indians. It's making me look at them and they're like, it makes me think that they're assholes.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, it's
horrific parts to our history.
It's similar to like, didn't Goya have some artwork like this? Is just very like, this is what's going on.
Totally. Goya was like an absolute like documentary.
Right.
Like, he documented a lot of. Was it the Spanish Revolution?
Right.
Yeah, the one with the guy with his hands up about to get shot by a firing squad. Yeah.
Right. And it's just like as an artist, like I feel like a lot of us are sensitive to that, and it's like that's the only way we can kind of feel like we're contributing sometimes.
Totally.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, for sure. Like to think that a piece of art has to be uplifting of the subject matter is stupid.
Yeah.
And then to censor it. The other issue is like going over this piece literally gets rid of it forever, and it's 100 years old.
Right.
And the intent of it was to talk about our dark past. It's like, what are you trying to cover up? You're like trying to do the opposite of what what the intent was, that you're actually pro. Like you're trying to build awareness by removing something that's trying to build awareness.
You're calling one side fascist when you're doing the exact same thing.
Right.
The same thing that fascists do. Censoring, telling people what they can and can't do.
Yeah. And they're saying like, oh, people can't get this without context. It's like, I don't know. Even first of all, I know we talked about this last week a little bit, but like they were saying like third graders won't understand it, but it's in a high school. And
it's on their walls, like it's not on a board or anything. It's like directly on the walls of the high school.
Yeah, it's painted inside.
Okay, if third graders don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure in second grade we had like Thanksgiving where we made the turkeys and like we learned what happened.
Right.
You know, I guess maybe my school district was a little bit more candid about what happened, but like I was well aware of what America was built on.
Right.
Early in my school career.
Right.
You know,
sure.
By high school, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's annoying. It's whatever though.
Yeah, it definitely strikes a chord with me because I think it like censorship is going to ultimately lead to complacency. Like people will be complacent if they're not having this stuff like brought to the surface and like shown in your face. And I would never guess that was from the 1920s.
I know. I mean, not only that, but it's a pretty cool mural in general.
Right.
Yeah.
Looks pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's going to top that. Although they are paying $600,000 to go over it. So all I'm trying to say is,
so is it happening?
I'm right
is
here.
it? Are they painting over it for real?
That I'm not
I had
sure
heard-
exactly, but it
might be
sounded
some
like they're
pushback.
going through with it from last I saw. But there might be, since the publishing of the article, there might be some pushback.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
Because there, once that original thing came out, I think New York Post or somebody like that, or Washington Post, put it on their website, and it gained a lot of traction from there, and so that's why they wrote this. They reached out to this artist from the 70s who did that article because they were like, well, we went through this already one time. So,
Right.
like, yeah, what were your thoughts on it? And so,
It's crazy to think about, like, you know how like our mural got defaced because people didn't like it for whatever reason, and it's like this is a public art, and there's nobody painting murals like this right now. There's nobody doing like murals that are super controversial like this, where they're like depicting things like historically like this anymore.
Unless it's in the Denver airport.
it's a lot of colorful shit.
What is happening at the Denver airport?
is
the
that
murals?
r/conspiracy?
It's conspiracy.
What's going on?
I
The
don't
Denver airport murals? They're really fucking weird. You've never seen them?
Oh,
I'm sure I've seen the
heard a
pictures
little-
of them.
It's
Yeah.
just the thing where that you can kind of see like swastikas or some shit in them.
Well, there is like the gas mask Nazi like stomping over something. You have to see it. That
Pull 'em
shit's
up.
crazy because I don't think that they made those
Pull it
that
up,
long
Jamie.
ago.
But there's no like, I think there's people trying to be somewhat controversial, but there's nobody documenting like history at this time the same way as they were.
I've seen a few like
Are they these ones?
anti-Trump
Like this one here?
murals and yeah, there it is. Like stealing children,
That's crazy.
What is
making
happening?
women cry.
Looks like a mirror one.
Yeah.
When did they make that? Does it say?
Let's go back to
Yeah, the Denver
details.
airport is definitely the epicenter of something fucking weird. Remodeling the lizard people's lair. Like that one.
Which one? Did I not click the right one?
No,
You want to go full conspiracy?
I want to go full lizard people.
That feels conspiracy theorist.
Let's see if this guy has any details on when it was created. God damn it! Pop-ups. I hate you.
Yeah, that weird horse. Apparently, the head fell on the
1995?
original
95, huh?
creator and killed him.
Oh my god.
Good.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
Good.
and the horse had like it has glowing red eyes. It's
Oh,
fucking
that's
weird.
creepy.
I think that the
Not that-
budget
We're gonna
for
make
the
a glowing
airport.
red eye on our mural.
Right, but hopefully the wall doesn't come down and kill us.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit there. But a lot of those murals are also really controversial because people are like, what the fuck is happening here? This is an airport. Like,
Right. I like it.
that's supposed to be like Last Supper, but
with clouded
all
leopards
ethnicities and
and
shit.
That's crazy.
raccoons and wolves.
I will say it's not great.
That's weird.
I don't know. See, but that's the thing is like murals are weirdly like so fucking
Interpreting the beasts of the Middle Ages. Hell yeah. Send that to me. I want that, actually.
the like most murals now they're like I want a lot of color. I want it to be no subject matter.
That's the tough part. It's like with public art, it just seems like people want to just water everything down. They don't want to offend anybody. So then you just get a bunch of boring murals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
People getting offended, man.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah. Fuck it.
That's the right word for it. I'm very fortunate to have like good friends that aren't like you guys that are not insulted by everything, and also like the people that I work with that one hat one hand, like God forbid someone put a microphone in that place because we're insulting to each other,
which is good.
Yeah, we're like fucking mega nerds. You just want to play D&D and bitch at each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love making fun of my friends.
Same.
It's one of the best things.
It is.
And if you're not like, I mean, there's some people that just aren't that quick at making fun of each other. Usually I'll try to go a little lighter on them. Sorry, Sergio, but like my brother's kind of like that. My younger brother, he's like not the quickest. And he grew up with a bunch of boys that just make fun of each other hard.
Right.
I love making fun of my friends. Like my friend Noma. Noma posted a picture of her like looking through a box of books, and I was like, bitch, you don't
read. Exactly.
Yeah.
And she liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, are those baby books? Who are you fooling?
I know. It's like our bookshelf has no
caterpillar.
I think
there's no real books.
There's no real.
There's no letters in those.
Yeah.
There's no words.
I'm offended.
That now is offensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I read those, like the graffiti books. I'll read the words that they write, and I'm like, just finished reading that book.
Yeah. You get the book with the biggest pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck that.
I did read a book the other day.
Hell yeah.
It was a graphic novel.
All right.
But it was awesome. Yeah, it was a big one. It was Uzumaki.
I don't know what that is.
It's Junji Ito, who is like the fucking guy for horror manga. And this one was all about spirals and how this town was infected by spirals. It is fucking weird. Spirals, like the shape, like everything was turning into a spiral. People were turning into spirals.
Crazy.
Dude, it was wild and I couldn't put it down.
Japanese got some crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Josh told me about that one lady that is like a real life like anime porn lady.
What?
She's so cute. I love her.
She's
her
not
name
Japanese.
Her
though.
name.
Belle something. She's not Japanese.
Is she the one that was selling her bathwater?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
she's
bring her
so
up.
funny.
She made
What's her name?
Belle something. She'll pop up.
sold bathwater.
Yeah. No, but yeah, that girl, Belle Daphne. But
Gamer girl.
But she's just like a real life, like
Bella Daphne.
She'll do like real life anime porn stuff.
She sold 300 or 3,000 bottles of her bathwater for $30 each.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Fucking brilliant.
Did you hear about
so
how
funny.
She went on Instagram? She was saying that she's going to start her like a porn channel on Pornhub, and she kept like talking about like, oh, I'm filming blah blah or whatever, like, and then she's like, oh, I just uploaded my first video, and the video's titled what's that YouTuber that like the biggest
PewDiePie.
she's like PewDiePie inside me.
Yeah.
And then like you click on the video and it's just her eating a picture of PewDiePie.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like he's filling me up.
I want to see what she looks like.
She's very cute. She's hilarious though, because that's like her cum face.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah, it's so funny. And like all of her like facial expressions are like an anime thing. So she'll do like these weird like I don't know, it's weird. Well, but she's just hilarious.
Is this the video here? No. How do you tell if there are videos on
that one?
Oh my god.
And she'll say like
who should I eat next?
Who should I eat next? she literally eats it.
Go to the one where she has purple hair. That one.
That's the one. Okay. This is her like
back to the face that started this all.
Yeah.
It literally is like a cartoon when you watch it.
Yeah, that's her like I don't know. I just think it's hilarious because it's totally just like a real life anime girl.
She's kind of creepy.
And she could play the game well because she's like a troll, so she knows how to like fuck with people hard. That You know, like, because obviously if you're her, you're probably going to get a lot of random fucks that are like hating on you or like giving you shit. So she'll come back really like
she's really quick-witted, because people were like, "Oh, I got an STD from the bathwater." She's like, "I haven't even sent them out yet." Like, she's like, "And I've only had a herpes once." But I don't know. She's funny, and then she has a YouTube channel where she'll like do like a crib thing, and her whole house is just like all pink and pastel, like the entire house, and there's bunnies everywhere, and it's just like and then all of a sudden she'll have like a paddle. She's like, "Oh, whoopsie," you know, like, "Oh," like, edit it. It's really funny, but it's cute.
Yeah.
She sounds similar to Poppy. Do you guys know that?
Poppy. It's Poppy.
Yeah.
That is a horrible name. I hate when girls call people scary. Poppy.
Yeah.
How do you spell it?
Poppy. And she is like super Poppy. Famous on YouTube. And at first, she makes these really creepy videos that that's an actual Poppy. And at first they were kind of like social commentary on like how weird like internet and YouTube culture is. But then she started becoming like an actual pop star, which kind of like ruined the whole idea behind it to me.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing with those kind of things. Trying to figure out how to monetize this thing you have so you can live off of it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how far that girl's career will go, but it's hilarious right now.
As long as she has bathwater, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's definitely probably has enough people to buy it to live off of for sure.
Just continue selling bathwater forever.
I mean, just from her doing that, she made as much money as I make in 2 years.
Right. Yeah, toenail clippings, whatever. She can literally just send, like, there's women that make money like sending like dirty panties or like foot shots or something, like feet images. I don't.
Some of my friends just sell their nudes for $20, and it's not even like a print. It's like, send me $20 on Venmo, I'll send you a nude, and they make money. It's wild.
A lot of freelance models they do that. They sell like Polaroids and stuff like that. Yeah, for like $40 a pop. So
yeah.
Damn. How many Polaroids do you have, Sergio?
I know. It's got a box full.
He's like, some have them on discount if you wait long enough.
Use the offer code, mate. 10%.
So funny. It's very strange what the internet has provided.
Sure. And she has like millions of followers, so she'll be fine.
Poppy or gamer girl?
This girl is like 4.3.
Oh my god!
I think she had like 2 million last.
Everybody's talking about her though.
Patreon?
She's 19.
Holy shit!
Click on that.
That might
Patreon.
be like a lot.
I want to see it.
Does she say she's 19?
She's not 19. She's like 25.
Because I think she's fucking around like how people put like what Starburst 16 or whatever.
Yeah,
you know, like she's probably. Yes, I'm 18.
Yes, I'm 18.
4,000 Patreons. I don't know. Does it say how much they make?
Well, she's making plenty.
Yeah,
what's the minimum?
Even if she's got 4,000, just giving her $1.
Yeah, and the next is $5.
But
Most likely, people are going to. Let's see what the prizes are.
I don't know. She's
Nude HD photo sets. What is the first one above that? Patreon feed. It's probably within these two, I'm guessing. Damn, that's a huge jump.
That's wild.
Fuck, if she has like 1,000 people giving her $25 a month, that is still a shitload of money. Holy fuck.
Jeez, get your money. Hopefully she can save it and be smart about it.
It's over $1 million a year if she's doing that, right? Is that right?
Easily.
5,000 a month.
But she's super smart. Like she went a certain route. She's not, because there's plenty of like cam girls, there's plenty like, you know, of girls doing this, but she went very specific, like in real life.
Otaku.
Like I'm a cute anime girl who is like kind of porny, you know, like
nerd culture is definitely a money maker if you can fit in.
And there's a ton of people that watch that anime porn, and she's like bringing it to life, kind of, you know. I don't know. I think it's smart.
Yeah. I mean, make your money while you can.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and she's hilarious too.
I'm assuming at like 50, she probably can't do that much anymore, but hopefully she'll be way past that.
Just save it.
Usually, if I feel like a lot of people that were like old pinup models and stuff, like just ended up having their own brand of something.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Down the line.
Yeah.
She's got
Get
plenty
into like
of money
makeup or
yeah, makeup.
If you're the smarter one, it's probably like athletes. You know, like they have like you have like a certain amount of time to make a shitload of money. So within that time, you better be figuring out your next couple steps.
And then you just make commercials for the rest of your life.
Yeah, or grills.
Like we have
grills,
blah 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 here, testing out the blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or announcers or whatever. But yeah, it's probably that. You know, it's like it's made for a young person. Like her thing isn't gonna last forever. Just like a football player is gonna have like 5 years maybe to like cash out.
Yeah.
But then plan your shit so that you don't have to rely on it after.
Like finding a hot young sugar daddy.
I mean, if she's making like she's probably making multiple millions a year.
Well, it's probably new though. Like she just like got big recently.
She had like 2 million before the whole like her porno channel thing. So it's still like she was still probably making a good chunk of money.
Right.
Pootie pie inside. Pootie pie is pretty hot, actually.
I've never seen a single video by him.
No.
I've seen like little clips
of
things he's done, but I've never seen, I don't know. I have no clue if
he seems, I've only seen a couple, but I've seen him talking about other people, and he's like he kind of reminds me of you, where he's like very like, he's very opinionated.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's got like a very specific sense of
humor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
You can be the Tongan cutie pie.
Do you get any pushback, like online?
Only on our reviews.
Oh.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Don't forget to rate and review us. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where the fuck do we go from here?
I don't know.
What are you tattooing today, Gan?
I am tattooing a little like spaceship that's abducting a cassette tape.
Nice.
The spaceship is like this weird, sinister-looking eyeball, and the cassette tape is gonna be Black Sabbath.
That's
what my friend wanted.
Cool. You have to. Are you gonna be able to fit like Black Sabbath on there?
I don't know. It was either gonna be Painkiller or Black Sabbath, one of those two. And I was like, maybe I'll do Painkiller because it's like, you know, a smaller word. But we'll see. I'm going to see if I can fit Black Sabbath on there because it'd be tight. I think he's getting it pretty big too.
Oh, nice. Did you design the whole thing?
Yeah,
awesome.
We were literally working together, and he's like, I have a couple ideas. I definitely want a UFO. And then like throughout the day, he'd just be like, with an eyeball on top. And then he'd come back and he'd be like, abducting a cassette tape. I'm like, okay. Just keep sending them over. We'll draw them up.
That is hilarious.
I feel like that's one of the things too, like with tattooing, I feel like I would just always be stressed out.
Yeah.
Trying to
stressed out.
figure out like how to work people's ideas.
Yeah.
Which is similar to like what we've been running into with murals, because it's like most people don't understand like the design element of things, you know. So it's like it's unrealistic.
I end up designing it, and MJ takes credit for it.
And if I got into tattooing ever, you would be doing. I'd be every customer that I'd be like,
how
hold on,
would you draw this,
I have
Josh?
to go ask Josh.
That's what I really like about my current relationship, is that like it's very easy to not get stressed out about design things, because I'll just like, if I'm running into brick wall after brick wall, I like run it over to Lauren and I'm like, please help me. And he'll just be like, oh, you got to do this and this. And then I do like another thing like 3 more times. And he's like, you got to do this and this. I told you already. And then I'll do this and that. Yeah. And he'll be like, see. But I have to do it my own way and fuck up like 3 times before I'm like, okay, maybe Lauren's way is the way.
Yeah.
That is a bad habit. I don't know what that is. That whole like your significant other telling you something and it not sinking in.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. Not necessarily on my end.
I don't know.
I need like a like a hologram of a different person.
To give me
In front of you.
information.
Yeah, that's like, MJ, you should do this. And she's like, good idea.
Let
Person,
me do it like that.
ghost man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with tattooing that I don't like. That is like the least attractive thing.
The commission.
Even though
part of
I'm
it, commission
never going to be a
aspect.
tattoo artist, but the whole like how the entire job is really just commission work.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you get really lucky and have people that like just want your artwork.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is very
MJ.
possible.
MJ got a little bunny.
Yeah.
Another bunny.
Yeah, and you do cool like things that seem, at least for the most part, seem like they would translate really well to tattoos.
Yeah.
Totally.
And I've seen some, and they do. So
Yeah. Well, I hope that ends up working out for you because that's like the best way. That's the best case scenario for tattooing.
I
You
think
know.
so.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna I need to get back on the ball because like as you guys know, I like work 3 jobs in 3 different cities and I'm like running around everywhere, and that's gonna come to a close once I move up here.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
really
about to
hard to
happen,
like
right?
make Flash, and making Flash, that's how you kind of like generate people coming in to get that stuff, that stuff that you want to do, because you like show them what you're capable of, and they're like, oh, I love that fucking you know, Grim Reaper's riding a skateboard, you know, like,
and is that just Flash? Is it just a pen and ink on paper?
for the most part, people do it in a lot of different ways. I've been experimenting with a lot of gouache because I really like the idea of making it still a finished illustration before anything else, because I'm just like a little like, if I'm gonna be painting, like I really want to I want to paint. I want to have fun.
Is the reason it's ink and, what did you say, ink and pen for the most part? Is that because it translates well to tattooing?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm still a baby, so I assume it's because it translates better. A lot of people use watercolor, but with the watercolor, it's really hard to like get the fades that you want because it reactivates. And so like essentially, you want to like replicate like that whip shading, that like nice smooth gradient,
right?
And the best way to do that is through inks because they're easy to push. But I've been liking gouache a lot because it just looks more like a painting to me, and I feel like I'd be comfortable putting that in a frame and just being like, buy it for your house. People want that on their walls now for some fucking reason.
The Flash. I mean, that's cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah. They're little originals.
Like the hipster cowboy Harley Davidson girls, like
the like, I don't know if you know Audrey Kawasaki.
Yeah.
I always see like tattoos that people do of her work, and it translates so. I mean, she is like line heavy, so it makes sense. But I've seen a lot of really like where it's like, well, that just looks like your work. Like it translates that well, which is very rare.
Yeah, her work does translate well. I can't say that I'm a fan of that look because I think that look is like made to be on like a beautiful piece of wood,
right?
Because that's what she paints them on. You know, like if she wanted them to be on your like eczema skin, she would. She'd probably be a tattoo artist herself.
Yeah, I don't. I'd have to agree where I don't like even like Sylvia G. Like those tattoos. A lot of people get those.
Those ones.
Yeah, like the Sylvia G. And they'll literally just get her artwork tattooed.
Right.
And
I mean, I don't like it either, but it's interesting when you see art translate super well.
True.
Like I don't like it as a tattoo. Yeah. But to see it and go like, holy shit, that doesn't look off. Like if I saw that, I don't go like, oh, that's a shitty Audrey Kawasaki paint, like thinking I go like, oh, that looks really good.
Yeah, they're done really well. There's like a lot of excuse me, like what is it called? I want to say new age. It's not new age. Art Nouveau, maybe. I don't know, like Alphonse Mucha-esque stuff out there, and I love the way that stuff translates. But he was a graphic designer. He was like one of the first, so that makes sense that he would translate well into a tattoo. And like the Miss Juliet who's doing your piece.
Yeah.
She has that like kind of flowy element that I like to a lot of her ladies.
Miss Juliet.
Yeah.
Miss Juliet.
She's a San Francisco tattooer.
She's at a 7th Son and she's a friggin' doll. I love her.
Yeah, she's really cool.
Like a doll come to life.
Yeah, kind of. Well, her daughter is totally a doll come to life, but they're very, very sweet.
Yeah.
And her husband Acetates is also like a really amazing artist that also works at 7th Son.
His name is Acetate?
His actual name is Joaquin. Joaquin Miller, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Her when I went to go, because I went last week to put down my deposit, and she had all of her I love going into a shop and seeing everyone's drawings like the transfer paper, and hers, she has them all perfectly organized on her wall and they're all amazing. She has a really cool Princess Mononoke that she just did, and it looks cool as like its own individual piece of artwork, because it's, you draw the original on the transfer paper, and it's really awesome. She has a lot there.
Yeah, I remember like when I went there for my first appointment ever, I was sitting at the table with her and she like opened up her giant folder, and it was only giant because of the girth of it. It was like full of drawings, and I was just like slowly like peeking over, and she like made that whole shop, they make their clientele feel very comfortable, which is awesome because there's like a lot of heavy hitters there that like I was so intimidated to go into that shop, and she specifically made me feel extremely comfortable.
Yeah.
And like was talking to me, and sweet.
Yeah, I really like her. I'm excited to get tattooed.
Yeah.
Excited.
I'm supposed to get tattooed maybe soon by someone.
Yeah.
But
your first one?
Yeah.
By who?
His name is Jordan something from Old Crow.
Oh, hell yeah. Old Crow's really cool. That was one of the first shops that I was looking at when I got to Oakland. I was like, they have a lot of cool artists.
Yeah. He's like designery.
It's very, very graphic.
Yeah. And it's the idea I had in my head, and then when I saw his work, I was like, all right, he fits exactly what I'm going for. Let me see if I can find him.
Is it just like black work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so lucky you're starting with a clean slate. Like, covered
Jordan
in
Wright?
shit.
Jordan Wright?
Is that him?
Let me see his work.
What's your what are your thoughts on I don't know if I sent you that. What are your thoughts on face tattoos? I'm just curious. There's this account on Instagram that all they do is post people's face tattoos.
I think it's the new I think people are finding it harder and harder to find their own voice and to stand out, and I think that definitely a face tattoo is going to get you some attention, but don't go crying when you realize that you have to like get an actual job because your SoundCloud rapping doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the way to go. I think Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Or if you're like a white girl with like a fucking half moon on your head, like just don't do it, because just don't.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, is she a tattoo artist?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's like one thing. Like I have a pretty big head tattoo that goes onto the side of my head, my face.
Really?
I got that tattoo from one of my first mentors that, it was like a tattoo that I was like, I'm fucking here. I'm in it. I'm dedicated. Like, this is how I'm dedicating myself to tattooing. Like, here's a fucking giant cyclops wolf breathing fire on my head. And, like, I can still grow my hair out. It can still be concealed. But, like, I know it's there, and that's my dedication to it. I don't have anything on my face.
Right.
But I think if it's okay for people to get something on your face, like, you better hope you're a tattoo artist or you have other sources of income that like support you well. I think fabrication's a great example. Like, no one would care if you had a face tattoo.
Or that old money.
There's just so many people getting it. Like, I see it over and over, and younger, and people with less and less tattoos getting it.
Yes, and that's the other bigger thing. To me, I think that's super insulting. I see people with like only neck tattoos or only hand tattoos, and I'm like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And like, again, it's like sometimes tattoo artists will get their hands tattooed, their face tattooed, their fingers tattooed before like their chest or before their back. And it's like, I mean, I understand because like I have a lot of tattoos on my legs and my arms, and there are a lot that are visible, but my hands, my face, my neck, like I got a way to go before I could even consider those prime locations. Like, I need to get my stomach, I need to finish my back, finish my side, like my kneecaps. Everything needs to be done before I decide that I have earned a neck tattoo. But my way of thinking is like very traditional, and I think that stuff needs to be earned. And I see like a bunch of little fucking idiots running around with like tattoos all over places that you can see, but when they go to the river and they take off their shirt, they have nothing else. You look like a fool. And if any of your listeners look like that, go get a back piece right fucking now,
or else,
because
it
looks ridiculous. So ridiculous. And that's my rant. I'm a baby, I don't know anything. It's 2019. I get it, guys.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I mean, that's back to like the whole tattoo being a thing steeped in tradition.
Totally.
You know, it's like there are these parts of it that are like based off of, for the most part, common sense. You know, like you were saying, even the design is like to explain something in a very explainable way that have been like kind of created in different cultures or whatever, and kind of passed on over time. Well, it seems like the whole like don't tattoo parts that show seems to be another like thing that has been created from common sense over time by people who have been a part of this thing, that they're not against tattooing. Like, they love this thing, but they have these rules that they set, you know, kind of.
Well, I do it as out of respect for the industry and out of respect for the people I'm surrounded by in the industry. Like, no, I didn't earn those stripes. I need to go through a lot more other painful areas before I can earn those stripes. And my head tattoo, it wasn't supposed to be even a little bit on my face. It happened to be that way because we like shaved my head down to where like you couldn't, it was like shiny bald. And we didn't line it up with my hairline correct. So it peeked out beyond my hairline, and we're like, oh, that's on your face. So that was a total fucking accident. And, you know, like, after that, I started getting bigger and bigger tattoos because I'm just like, oh shit. You know, like, I don't want to be one of those people that, like, you know, just shows that they're not fully dedicated. That's what I see.
Well, it seems like it's more of like a fashion statement there. Like, it's like, I want to be perceived as
an Instagram influencer,
or some shit like that, or trendy or some shit. You know, I got some neck script and some fucking cute hand tattoos or whatever.
It's quite wild to me that is where people want to get their tattoos now. Is like immediately they want to get on right here on their hand, and I'm like, well, try your wrist maybe. Like, why do we have to go directly to your hand, the thing that you use every day? Like,
I suggest taint first. Like the spot no one will ever see first, and then move out like a cancer.
I mean, I started on my upper butt area. That was my first tattoo because I was like, oh, it probably won't hurt if it's there.
You can call it what it is.
It was to the right. It was in the middle. That was like my first one because I could hide it from my parents.
Tramp stamp like, adjacent.
Slowly. Exactly. Well, my second ones were on my arms.
I'm just kidding.
Tramp stamp. Yeah.
I feel like as a guy, it's like I'm tempted to, like, in my head, I'm like, it'd be hilarious to get a Tramp stamp. Just because
you should.
Just the only tattoo I ever get. Like, you have any tattoos? Yeah, let me show you.
Yeah. And it's like
the better of a tattoo it is, the funnier it gets, I think.
Hell yeah. You get like a really nice mushroom fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird for me to be even commenting on the tattoo industry because I'm such a baby in it, and because like my mentor is Lauren, and I've been floating around this industry for 6 years doing like desk jobs and like talking to all sorts of artists. I mean, before I was even working a desk, I was talking to artists in New York and just like trying to understand what this industry entails. And in college, there was actually a course at SVA in which we had Thomas Hooper teaching a design course, a tattoo design course. And that's when I really realized that I was like, I wanted to be a game artist, like a character designer, concept artist. And I realized that like I always drew all of my characters in their most dynamic position, and then after that I didn't want to draw them any other way. I was like, that's what you get. I don't want to do like a front, back, side, middle. And so when I took that class, Thomas Hooper actually moved away right when I got in. I was so upset. He moved to Austin, where he is now. And Stephanie Temez, I believe she owns Saved in New York City and Brooklyn. She's the one who teaches the class probably still. And she is my first dose of like some pretty hard love when it comes to the tattoo industry. And Thomas Woodruff was the director of the illustration department, and he was Ed Hardy's apprentice, I believe. And so he also showed me a lot of tough love. I didn't find that part out till later. That he had anything to do with the tattoo industry. But I mean, he's tattooed head to toe, and he's like the director of one of the most prestigious illustration schools in New York. So obviously he had some pull. But yeah, it was wild. Like I kind of got like beaten into the traditional sense. And, you know, I was chasing apprenticeship after apprenticeship, and it was really difficult. Like, I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do it right the whole time.
Right. That makes sense.
And the whole, like... Classically, I'm trained contemporaneously.
Classical.
It's like, it reminds me, like a lot of graffiti people seem to go toward, or maybe try to pursue tattooing. Probably a lot unsuccessfully, but it makes sense that they would be a good fit if they end up fitting in, because like all those countercultures are so fucking like not for the faint of heart, you know. Even like cholo culture and all that makes sense how they, like, a lot of them would probably become tattoo artists, because it takes a lot of thick skin to probably push your way into those things, and a lot of egos that are pushing you either down or saying like, fuck off, we don't want you here.
And I mean, you really get pushed around for a long time. I mean, there's artists that try to still push each other around. There's artists that like will always have beef with each other, and that's kind of the way that world works, because it's the people it attracts. Not now, because right now it's you know, it attracts a lot of people that want to fucking stick and poke on Instagram, and like me, I would never survive in this fucking industry if it was in the 90s. Like, I am a fucking art school graduate. It's the art school graduates, I think, are bringing in like a totally different air to this scene also, because we are classically trained artists, and we're not coming from a counterculture where like we just want to get fucked up and like that's it and like slide by. So that's really interesting. I mean, some of us. I used to.
And I'm a school of visual arts graduate. Sucker.
Well, it's also like, even walking into Seventh Son, you can tell there's like a very high level of professionalism. Or even like Glass Beetle. Like when I started getting tattooed, I was going to shops, but it was more definitely like a hangout place where it's just like a ton of people just hanging out, like drinking beers and stuff like that, where those places look like a place of actual, like that was like a place of business, but this is like very much like they're trying to have like a very clean kind of storefront, if you will. Like I don't know if that's how you would say it, but it's like they want to give off a sense of professionalism as opposed to like, hey, come hang out and like sit and drink.
The shop that I worked at in LA was really funny because there was like, the guy who owned it was very rarely there. So, and he had like 2 other shops and he was opening up a 4th shop. So we never saw him and we were kind of like, the neglected stepchild in the corner. So we really ran that shop by ourselves and we were a bunch of kids. So it was super fun, but boy, was it dramatic. Like everything was drama. But I mean, I had the most fun in that shop. Right. That shop, like the doors closed and everybody like breaks out all their fucking party gear and like, we had windows that just like shone onto fucking Skid Row. Right. So like there'd be like zombie people walking by and like looking in and we're just like partying and tattooing each other. I wasn't tattooing, but like I was getting tattooed because they're like, come here, you little child. Like you're going to get a tiger today. Nice. And that there's a aspect of that I really miss from that shop. But for the most part, it was a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Sometimes chaos is a beautiful thing.
Right. But it's like what she's saying. Like, I feel like when you take a person who's like classically trained, like you're saying, the people, I'm assuming at Seventh Son have some sort of like, like schooling, and it like it's a different feel as opposed to having the shops that I've been to, like growing up, where you can tell that it's something that somebody else taught somebody else, as opposed to like they didn't go to art school, they didn't do, it's
cool
a different feel.
What I really loved about Seventh Son, so I got my full back done there by Henry Lewis, and when he was putting on that gigantic stencil, like everybody in the shop was involved. Right. I was paraded around the shop practically naked, as you do. Like that's just, you're a fucking canvas. Right. You're like a piece of meat, literally. Yeah. And so I was paraded around the shop, and like I think Jeff Croce drew on me to like show him something with the cape. Grime added some things in there, and like everybody had a hand in making my back piece like fucking sick. Yeah. And I was stoked because I was like, I mean, none of them knew that I was pursuing tattooing, but I was like, oh my god, like all these people are like putting their hand into this tattoo. Like this is so fucking cool. Right. That is very cool. They're more like artists and peers.
Exactly. It's more like having like art studio mates. Yeah. It sounds similar to like Adam Caldwell and Hiroshi, how they'll call each other over whenever they're like, hey, what do you think about this? And that's similar. That's like the same concept. Because I've gotten tattooed there before, and it's very like everybody's kind of like, oh, dope. Like, what are you working on? And then like, oh, what if you did this? Like, it's very similar, where it's more like people really working together, and like it's an artistry.
Well, that environment just breeds greatness a lot of times. If you're pushing each other harder and pointing out your flaws, then you are allowed. It just forces growth, really.
Yeah, and a lot of people find that in like tough love, but I think that, I mean, they are tough on each other. Like, they were saying certain things weren't working, and he agreed. He's like, I don't think that's working. And they're like, you should try it like this. And he's like, okay, like this. And then he would take the pen and make the final mark, and they'd be like, yeah, exactly like that. Yeah. And I think that is a super healthy communication that you don't see in a lot of other shops, because a lot of people are like feast or famine, which sucks, because like, I just want to be friends with people all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that like as like like that because these people are individual artists, and it takes that feeling of feeling secure in your own artwork to be able to help somebody else out and say, hey, you're doing great, this is how you can make it better. And like that, and I agree where there are people who are more like, oh, that person's messing up, I'm not going to say anything,
right?
Because you want to see that person fail.
The other issue too is like we're artists, and with that you have a built-in ego, with what you create and how you perceive your work, and you have to kind of like teach your ego to like relax so that you can take in critiques and be able to like grow from them. So the ability to be like, oh yeah, I see it, or like, yeah, you're right on that, is just you learning to like knock down that ego a lot of people have, especially probably, I mean, tattoo world is just known to have egos in it. So
like rock solid egos.
Solid as a rock.
It's really interesting because I feel like that's another thing that the art school world is bringing in is like we're all used to critique, and not all art schools have brutal critiques, but I can definitely say with full confidence that SVA will pummel you to the fucking dirt and then spit on you. And you might think that you're good, and then somebody's gonna turn around and be like, this looks like some fucking high school ass angsty teenage waste.
But are they doing it?
Cry.
Are they doing it to like make you better?
Sometimes people just didn't like each other.
Right. That's the issue with critique sometimes. Sometimes it's like to feed your own ego. You're trying to like either shit on someone or prove that you know something. You're like, that's not what it's here for.
Yeah, but you just sit there and kind of learn to like show no emotion and just be like, okay. And you take what you need and like you can, I mean, I've sat there so many times and let people just like totally vent whatever weird bullshit they would take out on me.
I always think critique should be more of a dialogue than a fucking...
Well, it is. But sometimes they get nasty. Right. Because I was very honest with my critiques. And I'd be like, I think that the anatomy is not working in this one area. And like... a lot, and most of the times it is a dialogue, right? But sometimes people don't like it, right? And it's the people that can't take criticism that will turn around and start attacking your character.
You're no artist.
There's a lot of those in SVA because SVA was a gauntlet. Really, if you had the money to pay for it, you were in,
right?
So there's a lot of people that like are definitely not doing art now.
That's how Academy of Art was too. Yeah.
Probably most art schools
nowadays. Totally.
Yeah.
Like especially private art schools. Like if you can pay for it.
Yeah, it's so expensive to get into nowadays. Yeah. They have to lower the barrier just to get people in there.
For sure.
Totally. Like, and it sucked because like I watched people some people like really did try and they just didn't have, maybe they weren't observing closely enough, but like some people can even draw a fucking figure on their senior year. And I was like, how did you get this far?
Right.
I have C's. How did you get this far?
Right.
Like, man.
Some people just don't have it. I mean, it's weird because it's one of those things where you're like, you can learn it. And then sometimes I'll meet like people that went to art school and I'm like, you don't have it. I don't know. Like, that's why I keep thinking, like we talked about before, it's like there is a thing that you can't, like, I think it's not necessarily like a it factor. What it is it's a certain amount of like personality traits or whatever that allows you to like see things and like piece things together or problem solve or whatever better, like in a physical, like visual way than other people. And
well, like how far will you let your imagination travel before you find something that's really fun? I think that a lot of people, I mean, especially now with like smartphones and stuff, it's really hard to like explore this whole realm within your head. Like I have really kind of dark thoughts all the time, and the way, and I've had them since I was younger, obviously. I've been confronting bitches at 2. But I remember like running full sprint home from my friend's house, which was 2 doors down.
Right.
Because I thought that there were like werewolves and things like chasing me. That's what I imagined in my mind. And then I started realizing that you can start to draw them and visualize what they might look like because they were never there.
Right.
But in my head, they were there. And I started drawing animals and anime. And
you can almost physically feel them there.
Well, that's
breathing.
Yeah.
That's like Guillermo del Toro. Like, he had the most vivid, like, all of his movies are just like his reincarnation of what he thought he saw as a child. That's what he said, like, all of it. Like, the fauna from the Pan's Labyrinth, he said that he literally saw that when he was a child and he thought it was real. And it's just
the
like,
hand guy?
That one too, but the fawn.
Oh, the fawn.
Yeah, yeah, both of those though. He said that he saw that one too and it was like terrifying, but he brings them to life.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, like, what happens to you as a child. I mean, maybe nothing happens. Maybe your head is just, like, literally an untamed fucking jungle of
I always think it's
things.
like it's a built-in, like, survival mechanism for kids. To, like, fear.
The boogeyman.
It's like you have to have these fear things built in so that in the wilderness when we were tribal, like, it would help you survive from, like, actual, like, saber-toothed tigers and shit like that.
That's actually
and
pretty
it's kinda
sound.
like passed on, and we still have, like, traces amount of where we, you know, we
Of
just
the
fear
instinct,
shit.
yeah.
And that's what makes us survive. All right, well, we've hit 2 hours and 6 minutes, and Sergio's supposed to go see his family 2 hours or an hour ago. So,
alrighty.
Gan? Shit, we forgot to ask you about your whole Gan mom thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dalf mom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, speaking of, we do have like questions. Somebody asked about
Shit.
that.
You got time, Sergio?
Yeah, we'll just blow through them. Yeah, it was actually Plague Ass update on Mom Dalf.
Mom Dalf.
Yeah, she was. What is this true? She was recently featured on something, maybe
Like
a
a magazine?
website.
Oh, on Dwell magazine. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They there is like the top 10 what's it called?
Embroidery?
Yeah, fabric embroidery, textile artists.
Really?
That you're sleeping on, and then we were number 10.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Which was super cool and awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
awesome.
it was sent to us, and I was like, what the fuck?
That's super cool.
And Dwell is pretty cool. Dwell's like a really like good lifestyle magazine, so we're stoked.
Nice.
At least it wasn't TMZ.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get any, like, benefits from that?
No.
How dare they?
Couple followers.
Couple followers.
Yeah.
That's all you-
Mondolf got a lot of followers.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
she got like 75 or some shit. I haven't checked in a while.
That's awesome. Do you run her account?
Actually, my sister Stephanie does.
Oh,
okay.
The main one.
well,
The main
the
one.
one that knocked your tooth out is what I heard.
The one that knocks. Yeah, she knocked quite a few of my teeth out. That was just
Damn.
one story.
Wow.
Holy shit. What else we got?
Let's see. Oblivious and totally aware. Do you think that you can grow as an artist participating in trendy challenges, or is it crap?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you're doing. But I mean, like, if, say, for like that 100 heads challenge, of course you're going to
Right.
get better.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell
Do
yeah.
it.
Right, that's a good one.
Inktober.
I've never
Right.
seen
Inktober.
that. The 100 heads. What is that?
Yeah, a lot of
forget
fine
who did it.
artists
Yeah.
are doing it, but they're basically drawing a portrait a day
Cool.
or something along those lines,
Something like
right?
that,
Like
yeah.
it's just like they'll number it, so it may not be a day, but they're like, oh, I'm working on number 2, number 3 till they get to 100.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
There's some really cool art, and it's cool to see the progression because they always get better. So I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
The other one that I think is cool is the Draw This in Your Style challenge.
Oh, yeah.
I think that one's cool because then you see people trying to redo like your artwork in their style.
Oh,
Yeah, that
that's
one-
super cool.
Yeah, that one's cool. I don't know. I think that's not a bad.
No.
A
Doing
bad
like
way to go
Inktober
around.
where you're trying to do
Yeah.
like an ink drawing once a day.
Yeah.
It
More
may not work.
repetition.
Yeah.
It may not work as well as you think it might,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it might not
it
get you a
doesn't
ton
hurt,
of followers,
yeah.
but
Right.
it
if you're
doesn't hurt
learning
to try.
something.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, like, if you're going to do those challenges, like, just keep trying to push the boundaries,
Right.
like, what you can do. Like, I just had to draw a fucking skeletal snake
Right.
And that was my fault. I put that in the rough sketch, and then I went to the finish, and I was like, "Holy shit, what did I do?"
That sounds really intense.
Oh, it's so intense. And the bone snake is wrapping and coiled around a live snake. So like, how the fuck? I was gonna kick myself, and I was gonna literally beat myself up physically.
This is for a tattoo?
This was for the opera.
I got a person that can do that for you. Your name is Stephanie.
Chase me around and sit on me. And that's what she would do.
You enjoy those teeth?
She's so mean.
What else do you got? Right.
You gotta push yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Anything that's practice, how's it not going to help you?
Totally.
Hollowed Art asked, do you feel there's more pressure for women to be good artists than guys feel? I don't know.
I feel like that, and I do. I think that as a female, at least for me, I don't want being a female to, which I think is kind of cool with you. We both have kind of androgynous names. Nobody knows we're female unless you look at pictures. So even now, people don't know whether I'm a boy or girl.
I still
and
don't
when
know.
they meet me, but yeah, I think it's definitely something you don't want to be one of those female artists. You just want to be an artist and be good because you're just as good as everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, there is an extra pressure, and I feel like we probably both try and do the best we can, but there is a weird.
I do my best to be better than most of the boys around me. I try to see what's around. I try to see what a lot of the other artists in my area are doing, and I don't like comparing myself with other artists, but I feel like sometimes I need to see people who are really fucking good to make me realize that fuck, I haven't gone to a figure drawing session in probably 2 years.
Right.
For sure.
And that's when I saw all of your art, I was like, oh dang. I don't know anything about anatomy. Not like I used to. I mean, I was doing that all the time, and then I stopped, and now I'm a rusty wagon just chugging through Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
It's definitely weird. You do get treated a little different.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I just wish I was a woman so I could take hot pictures in front of my
That's
pizzas.
true.
Sell your bathwater.
Sell your bathwater.
Hell yeah.
But
I
yeah,
knew it was that easy.
I've definitely heard some male artists complain the opposite. I
That it's
don't think
easier.
about it that way. Usually, I like to see skill over everything.
Totally.
But I've heard people complain oh, girls get it because they're cute, and I'm
that's
stop being a bitch.
That's something that I'm also actively trying to work against. And I'm sure same for you. It's especially if you're a cute girl and you're making art, you got to make your art kind of wow people before anything else. I always wanted my art to speak louder than anything.
Right.
And
me too.
I didn't want anyone knowing that I was a girl. I didn't post pictures of myself. When I was really grinding out art, I was trying to keep it on the down low. Because I mean, even Lauren, when we first started communicating on Instagram, because I was interested in getting the 2 thigh pieces that I have from him, he thought I was some fucking dude. He didn't know that I was a girl.
An old man with a long white beard, maybe.
And a staff.
Maybe that guy.
Yeah.
She's like, can I? He's like, I'm waiting for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I walked in with I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We got anything else?
Let's see. Plague of Crows. Which Fletcher's corny dog is your favorite?
What is he talking about?
He follows corn dogs.
Oh.
And I told him,
We
I was
trolled
like, I don't follow
Ranger Dragon.
corn dogs. Who does that? And he was like, me and Sergio.
Oh.
It was a joint collaboration of trolling a corn dog account. Let's see. Last question. What are some of the difficulties learning to do mural work with spray paint? I guess for you, MJ, that's a new medium for you. So
Yeah, I still haven't. I mean, I've only done 2 with spray paint. I did have a little experience because I've worked with airbrush like years ago, which is similar, but I really don't know what I'm doing. Like it's a totally different medium, and I mean Josh helped me a little bit, but it's
a lot.
Or a lot of
Thank
it.
you.
Sure.
You're welcome.
A spray paint is definitely different. One of the things that I had heard, what's the muralist?
True.
Lolo.
Squid Ink.
Squid Ink. Yeah, the Squid Ink lady. She said that when she decided Squid.licker.
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 Squid Ink is another artist, another tattoo artist.
Yeah. I heard a podcast with her, and she said that when she decided to do murals, that she did not touch any other medium besides spray paint. When she's like, I need to figure out how to do spray paint. Wow. And that's kind of what I want to do. But the problem is, spray paint is so ridiculously expensive. Like, I just spent $500 on like a box of spray paint, and I don't know how long it'll last me. Yeah, it's a big box, but still, like, it's an expensive medium.
Right.
I wonder if you can write. My friends got sponsored by, not Montana.
Ironlock?
Fresh paint.
It's like the one with the circles. Krylon.
Oh, Krylon.
Yeah, Krylon sponsored them, and
and
I don't know what I mean. If it's free, just
right,
get
that's
it.
true.
You know,
but Krylon,
make it work.
A lot of them are like it's like a Valspar valve, so
you can't switch the top.
Yeah, a lot of,
really,
like, they're not compatible that much.
That's a pretty big deal.
That's what you got to do. That's your $1 million idea. Make compatible Krylon can spray.
Yeah, even like, I mean, people have done, because Rustos, they changed from a female valve to a male valve for their spray cans. So then graffiti artists figured out how to make an adapter for that. It's one of the greatest things.
Yeah, they're pretty handy people.
Yeah, but
good luck trying to.
They haven't done one for Krylon because, I mean, it's not the greatest paint, and it's got the shittiest cap. So it's like, Rusto's way better.
Yeah.
Rusto.
No diss to your friends.
They made beautiful art out of it.
Free fucking paint is free paint.
Yeah.
I know. I think that's the thing. It's like you always have to appreciate that.
And you can make good fucking art off of Crayola markers, you know, like if you try
Crayola crayons, 72 pack, because you're the cool kid in class.
Exactly.
Yeah. Spray paint, I think, though, the cool thing about that is like Drew Merritt is one of like a muralist that I look up to right now, and it seems like the bigger you go, the easier it is to use spray paint too. And that's something that
it's not meant for small detailed stuff.
No, and that's kind of the hard part, because
there are people that can do it, but it's a lot of like Herakut, that guy Cut, whatever one he is. He can do like a portrait like this big with like a ton of
spray
detail.
paint.
Yeah, but he uses a lot of tools with it.
Right, and that's what I want to learn. Like
watch his videos.
That's
a shitload of videos
on YouTube or on
just
Instagram?
Type in Herakut on YouTube. A shitload of videos will pop up.
That's awesome. Yeah,
you'll see. You'll at least get like little glimpses of techniques
of what he's doing. Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Is that it?
Cool. Yep. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Alrighty.
Gan underscore Dalf.
Yes.
Instagram. MJ
Lindo.
J Lindo. Instagram. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Anything else? You guys got any? Go get tattooed by Gan.
Go get tattooed by Gan.
Glass beetle
tattoo.
Or Lauren.
Yeah, well, Lauren, I did want to shout out one artist that I think that everyone might find interesting. Let me just bring up her. She is one of my favorite fucking artists that I went to school with, and I'm trying to remember what her art account was, and I believe it's Cora Draws.
With a C?
With a K. Oh, it's going to drive me crazy. Let's find it. Oh, wait, it's rat poison.
Rat poison.
Okay. So it's RATTT_poison. Check her out. She's got a really amazing dark horror.
Oh yeah, these are kind of cool.
Nightmare monsters.
Yeah.
Follow her because everyone's fucking sleeping on her, dude.
Hell yeah.
She's gonna do some pretty amazing shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's in New York. Very
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
She's got that
Or
accent.
I'm sorry, they are in New York.
Ah.
MJ, do you have anything coming up?
We have 2 big shows next year, which is not that far, but I mean, the crazy thing about like whenever you have these bigger shows is that you need to start prepping now.
I know.
And that's kind of where I'm at. I need to start working now and doing shoots and
This
working
next year
concepts.
is literally the opposite of what I did this year. I
I
was like, I'm
know.
not doing shit for
and
shows.
we've already set ourselves up for next
And
year.
next year it's like, I am nonstop.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Is that it, Sergio?
I think so.
Got anything?
Still doing pet portrait commissions, so hit me up
You got a
for
proper
your
kitty cat.
Yeah. any of your fuzzies, even your scalies.
I need to start a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter to pay Sergio to paint Mellow for me and garbage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for having us.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys for doing
Thank
this.
you.
This has been Waiting Dry. If you're still listening, fuck off.
Now that's New York.